Don't be a selenite in the spiritual bath pagan, please. So today we're talking spiritual baths. Hey, it's Don from UPLift Herbs. Today we are doing a step-by-step spiritual bath, and what I want to do is essentially show you how I prepare a spiritual bath start to finish. This is a similar process whether I do it for clients or whether I do it for myself. If you would like to work with me on a one-on-one basis to kind of put this custom spiritual bath together, to do a consultation and diagnose some spiritual problems and address them with some spiritual medicine, feel free to make a consultation, feel free to make an appointment. The booking link is in the top of the bio. So, on to the bath. The first place I start is by asking for guidance and asking for advice. If we are consulting just on a one-to-one basis, for example, then I am able to use more of an herbalism background to see what kind of things we can work with. And I'm pretty comfortable with spiritual and herbal magic at this point, so it's pretty off the dome when we're working with clients. I will still do a tarot consultation with it because I always cross-check with spirit. That way we know that we're getting it right. So I pulled a couple cards just to ask what kind of bath we should be going to, and often when I pull cards like this, it'll share some obstacles that are coming or some energies that we'll need to focus on. And then it will share things that need to be addressed or things that need to be fixed. So the first thing that came out was the King of Cups reversed, which I often read as a difficult time with creativity and a difficult time both holding and giving and receiving emotions. So this is after a process of loss and a lot of trauma. This is a bath I'm going to take, and so I'm getting called out a little bit by this. But this is to kind of revitalize a sense of peace, a sense of internal peace, and it's a kind of internal peace that exudes out. So if you watch the last video, I'm actually going to use some of that menthol baby oil in this, so I think it's funny that they came out to just like chat. The next card that came out was the Revolution card, which this is the Next World Tarot deck if I haven't shared that yet. This Revolution card is I believe Judgment. This is the replacement for it, but I like this a lot better, and is literally the place we are in society at this point. So it's just kind of a need and a retention of the chaos that's going around the world, and a need and call to give the energies that we need to overcome that struggle and to prosper through a time of chaos. The next card that came out is the Sun reversed, which just tells me that we're having a hard time being happy. So we're going to use a very sunny herbs like citrus, like pine, to kind of bring about that happiness. When I do readings like this, it often feels like reversed cards are things that need to be treated. So the reversed cards need to be turned upside down or right side up. And that's kind of the logic I follow when diagnosing a lot of these things. Not always, and it depends case by case. And every single time Spirit's very explicit about what you need. So I cheated a little bit because I already knew what was going to happen. And I prepared some herbs. So the first thing you're going to want is a bowl like this. You can do this in any order that feels good for your craft. You are going to select the herbs, the plants, the oils, the liquids, whether that be milk, whether that be a milk substitute, tomato juice, lemon juice, if you want to add a mango, a coconut water, a separate kind of tea, anything like that. You will take them, separate them out. I work over them and pass them with smoke. I'm going to use the pine bundle that we have right here. These are ones that we make. If you're interested in one, we will be selling them soon. But I'm going to take this smoke and pass it over all the ingredients once I lay them out in the bowl. That's just to cleanse and remove that residual energy that's on them. That way when we move forward, there's nothing on them but the intent we're putting in. We are going to collect and select the herbs, the plants, the botanicals, and the contents of our bath. From there, we are going to cleanse them, and I only cleanse them like this. There is some thought that when you boil herbs or when you boil a bath or when you boil tea, you kind of boil off the blessing. I only half vibe with that, and that's a very loose terminology to use, but so I'm just going to cleanse these, and then after the tea is done, I will bless and work with the tea. Water is also much better, not better, but much more fluid at retaining energy. So putting blessings into herbs is one thing, and you should still speak intent into these herbs, offer them gratitude, offer them thanks, offer them the smoke. But then I will do like the real charging, the blessing, and the prayer over the bath water, which would just be a concentrated tea. So after you select your herbs, after you cleanse your herbs, you are going to cook them, boil them off, or if you really want to, you can just add them directly to your bath water. That'll look like a different process. I'm going to assume you're boiling them. I like to make a concentrate. It also helps to release the botanicals, the essential oils, and the more physical properties of the oil or of the plant into your bath. Because truth be told, if I put this piece of pine in bath water and just sat with it, the pine wouldn't really release any essential oils, probably until I was about ready to get out of the bath. And that seems like a bit of a waste to me. I do like putting fresh things in the bath because they help to absorb energy. So like those really pretty spiritual baths that you see people post a lot with the big flowers in it and stuff like that, those absorb energy in the bath and then return a kind of blessing. There's a very like copacetic symbiotic relationship there. So if you want to add fresh herbs in addition to your bath, I think that's great. From an herbalism standpoint and just how herbal medicine works, you will not get the benefit of the plant if you do not extract it appropriately. That's very like, if you do not use the herbs right, you will not get the benefit. If you do not respect these herbs the way that they are supposed to be respected and treat them the way they need to be treated, you will not benefit from the medicine. So the first one I have selected is some pinon pine. This is for cleansing and purification. Again, going back to this, pine is very strong, very steady as a plant, is very protective. That's going to be great to championship through this chaos. To this, I want to add some orange peel or some citrus oil, probably that happy joy oil. Again, those two have been very prominent for a while. That's going to be to address this sun issue. And then I'm going to add some of the menthol baby oil for this King of Cups. Because those are oils, I don't really like boiling them sometimes. And if I add just like an olive oil or a coconut oil, I will boil it. If it's an oil that's been anointed, if it's an oil that's been prayed over and has like more botanical sense in it, then I don't really want to boil it and lose those essential oils. It's better to add prepared oils, scented oils, after the bath is boiled. To this, and just to kind of continue, I'm going to add some dry eucalyptus, and then probably some yerba buena or spearmint. Then we are going to go boil off those dry herbs in just a small pot of water, strain them off, put them back in the bowl. As you can see, we just have the pine in here right now. And from there, we will be back. So yeah. I'll be back with a prepared tea. It normally takes about an hour to fully boil and cool, so we'll be back then. So we have the herbs in the pot. They are boiling on a medium high. I have them covered with a lid. Once this starts to boil, I will turn it down to about a low, let it simmer for 10 minutes. That way all the essential oils can release from the plants, but not fly out of the top. That's why we have the lid. And then we will strain it off, add it back to the bowl, and go from there. Additives you can add to your bath to either enhance or carry out more intentions are things like milks. Almond milk, for example, would be very good for drawing in prosperity. This is vanilla almond milk, so it'll draw in it would be very good for a marriage blessing. It would be very good to draw in prosperity, to draw in joy, good health, and stuff like that. Other things you can add are sweeteners. You can add stuff like corn syrup, you can add stuff like molasses, you can add stuff like honey is probably the most common and will be the best for your skin. That's what I use. If you are using a sweetener in this bath, a honey, a sugar, brown sugar, whatever kind of thing it might be, if it is a sugar and a sweetener, do not add salt. If you are using salt, do not add a sweetener. Salt in general will carry and trap energies. And so when we do that and when we use salt, it will be more for a cleansing and purification bath. Something where we want to strip the body, the spirit, and the mind of negative and harsh energies. That way we can reintroduce blessings and kind of clear blocks. That's the time you would use salt. This does not apply to Epsom salt. And you can add Epsom salt to any bath. Those do not trap energy. They do not work the same. It is not a salt. It is not a sodium chloride. It is magnesium sulfate. And it's different, and energetically it works different. Truthfully, I think adding Epsom salt to any bath helps you absorb more of the oils that are in the bath. It also helps it blend more to the water. you also absorb both of these minerals into your skin, which is very grounding. So Epsom salt does not apply, but do not mix salt and sweeteners. More quick addition, if you are, and for any plants that you are using in a spiritual bath or in a bath, or any plants you're using on an oil or something that will go on your body and on your skin, make sure you are researching the plants that you use. Make sure that they are safe to use on skin. If you are going to use them in a more edible way, make sure they're edible. A good rule of thumb is if a plant is edible, it can be used on skin. That doesn't apply for everything, so please do your research. If you are using plants that you did not collect or grow yourself, and you do not know what they are treated with, you do not know if they have pesticides or anything sprayed on them, do not use them in a bath. Do not use them in an oil. Do not use them in a tea or a perfume blend. Do not. You don't know what's on them, and it's just not very smart. You can hurt yourself. There are ways to get pesticide poisoning like this, so just be smart. Research your herbs. And if you are not familiar with any kind of herbalism, I would suggest that you consult an herbalist. This is real medicine, and you can really hurt yourself doing this. Obviously, it's not to the same extent as like taking herbal capsules or anything like that, but it is food for thought, and it is something that should be well researched. This is out. It's still a little bit hotter than I'd like it, but I wanted to strain this to show you. So I have this fine mesh strainer in here, and then some paper towels over a colander just to support it hanging above the bowl. You can just use the paper towel colander method. You can just use the fine mesh strainer. You can use any combination of these. If you have cheesecloth, use cheesecloth. If you just use the colander, that'll still be fine. Just know that these holes will let in some pieces of herbs, and so you will have to clean the bathtub a little bit more afterwards than if you were to have to do just like this. So next step is to add some oils, add perfume, add any other kind of magical ingredients, and charge it with some intent. All right, we are back in the spirit room, a little bit of a different perspective. We have the bath here. You can see it steaming. It is very hot still. Again, this is not as cool as I normally would work with it. This feels okay. It is still steaming. So to this, we are going to add those oils that we were talking about. This one is that citrus blend oil. Oh. Honestly, after blending the bath, and you only add a little bit, I added way too much, but you only add a little bit of this oil. It is super concentrated, and adding so much will make your skin a little bit greasy. This oil is unfiltered, so there are just like chunks of herbs, and it is going to get in, it's going to make a mess, but hey, the price you pay for magic. All right. Just adding a little bit of those oils. That will really help to bring out a little bit of a different smell for all of them. When I first pulled it off, I ended up combining basil, a little bit of something I can't remember at this moment, with the pinon pine and with eucalyptus. So all of it kind of made a very like green herby smell. It was very unbalanced. So adding this citrus and a little bit of menthol helps to like really bring out some of the other flavors and really, you know, round out and polish it. We are adding some cinnamon and rue perfume to this for more prosperity. And it's just a good blessing cologne. Adding an alcohol base to this perfume, or just like adding an alcohol to this bath base will help blend the oils. One more time, cohesively. Adding an alcohol to this bath base will help the oils to blend with the water. Alright, so we have basically everything I'm going to add to this, and I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you could then charge this. One of the ways, and something that you should just kind of do whether or not you use it to charge or to cleanse, is to pass some smoke over. Often using bundles like this can get very wasteful. You see how much is burning? You don't need this much, but I do pass this pine over the bath. I offer thanks. I offer the smoke in gratitude to the herbs, to the spirits of these plants, to the spirits of the water, to the spirits of the plants, to the spirits of the herbs, to pine, to eucalyptus. I thank you for your healing. I thank you for your blessing. Thank you to the ancestors and the guides who led the creation of this bath. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you in abundance. Thank you with my heart. Thank you with my mind, and thank you with my soul. Offer high-level thanks, gratitude, thank the herbs, bless them, invoke them, ask them for the intent that you have set forth. Another way that you can charge these, and this is actually more of, I first kind of looked at this in a Hellenic craft, where the union of fire and water is how holy water is made, and I find that quite interesting, especially if you like equate Holy Spirit to holy fire and water to baptism, and then like both of those rituals in a like Catholic initiatory sense are both prominent. Anyway, that's a tangent, but the combination and union of fire and water. One of the ways you can do that is by putting one of those chime candles in the base before you pour the bath. That way it can stand up. And then just lighting that candle, and the flame will be extinguished by the water and like the union of the two. Another way you can do that is taking a glass novena candle like this, take any stickers or anything that's on it off, wash it down with your spiritual cologne, the Florida water, alcohol, kill the bacteria on it, remove any negative residual energy, and then you can just set this inside of the bath and let it burn. If you would like to add some herbs and anoint this candle, pray over the candle as well, it'll make the whole thing stronger. And then just leave it in for as long as you want. These will burn for like 4 days if you let it just nonstop. If you want to charge your bath for 4 days, it'll make it a very strong and charged bath. And if not, I'm probably going to do this one overnight, so I'm not going to use one of these candles. I will be using a couple tea lights. These ones last for about 4 hours and are much more manageable. You can even float these on top of the bath if you want to, and I think that looks really cute and creative. And then a similar process will happen where it will sink through and the fire will be extinguished by the bath. I will probably put about 3 of these inside of this bowl and just let them float around while I pray over it, add intention, you know, adding these very high vibrational energies and focusing and recalling on the intents that were asked for in the reading. You can also leave these cards while you're speaking to the bath, while you're praying over the bath. Stand these cards up, leave them in the space. That way you know and have a representative of the energies you're trying to invoke. And yeah, from here, the next steps would be to prepare your sacred space for the actual bath. Taking a spiritual bath is a ritual in of itself. You enter into the bath, which is a symbol of entering into trust. You enter into the blessings that you have asked. The bath will be a little bit hot and you're supposed to enter fearlessly. That's at least for me. Clean the bathtub, clean the bathroom. The physical space should be as clean as possible. You also don't want any loofahs, you don't want any like soaps sitting on the corners of the bath, you don't want anybody's towel hanging over the thing. Remove anything from the bathtub. It should be just the bathtub. And if you want to add there like crystals, if you want to add water soluble crystals, don't be a selenite in the spiritual bath pagan, please. Don't do it. So from there, you cleanse your space. I would smoke cleanse a space as well after physically cleaning it. And then from there, pour your bath water into the water. Run the hot bath water. Pour the bath concentrate that you have prayed over, that you have boiled off and added oils to, into the bath. I will then like rinse the bowl I used in the tub a little bit just to make sure everything comes out. You can fill the bowl up with just clear tap water from there and leave it on the corner of the tub. Some people like to wash it over their head after the bath, just to remove any like particles that might be on your face or something like that. Etiquette for the bath. You should more so try to meditate in this bath. Just kind of quietly focus. It doesn't even have to be like the singular focus you think of, but just think about how the water feels, let your muscles relax, let your mind drift wherever it has to go. Think about what you're thinking about, and then just try to have a very peaceful interaction with this. There are 2 things happening while you do this. One is that all of the negative energies and things that don't apply to the intent we've added to this bath are being stripped from you. They're being absorbed into the water and the plants in the bath. And while you are releasing this energy like a sponge, you're absorbing the blessings and the intentions we put in the bath. So there's an exchange of energy happening, and it's one of the reasons that spiritual baths are so powerful. It's both release and attraction in one bath. And if you think about it physically, you're literally blessing and charging that space around you. Water is very fluid. It's a very good portal for spirit. It's a very good conductor of spirit and energy. And so you're literally surrounding yourself, your energy, your aura, your spirit, your whatever the hell you need to call it, with the blessing, with these high level vibrations, with this protective energy. Because you have spent so much time and this exchange has happened and there are now blessings over you, you do not rinse off after this bath. Do not. Do not rinse your hair. Do not rinse your skin. You can wash your face and rinse off with that one bowl of water that you set aside at the beginning. And that's just like if you have any herbs stuck to your face because of oils or something, rinse that off. Try to not wash away the blessings that you have just put on. It is very disrespectful to the spirits of the herbs and the plants and everything that has just been sacrificed for that bath if you choose to rinse off. Do not take a shower after this. Do not use a towel to dry off. You can just put a towel on the ground and stand over it. That way you don't make the carpet or the floor wet. And from there, just air dry. If you want to use the blow dryer to go a little bit quickly, do that, but do not towel dry. You do not want to wipe this blessing off. You want it to stick to you. You want the oils to stick to you. And if the herbs stick to you as well, that's often a sign that you needed the extra blessing. So don't like try to brush them off. It might be itchy if like small things like ground cinnamon are stuck. You're going to have to figure that one out for yourself. After your spiritual bath, you should, depending on your tradition, wear light clothing. Often if you are taking a spiritual bath and in like an ATR or in, even for different brujas and curanderas I've spoken to, they all recommend wearing white afterwards. Sometimes they say red, just because it repels a lot of energies, and so it helps to keep the intent that you have put on pure. You do not have to do this. Something that I do, I will put on any charms, necklaces, rosaries, or anything that I will wear that day, any like amulets, any charms or anything go on first, and then I will wrap my head, I will wear a bandana, I will put the beanie on for the day, that's cleansed, that's consecrated, and then you get dressed. I like to shift from the bath into kind of prayer and meditation just because you're already very relaxed, so it's a very easy transition. You don't have to do that. The best times to take a spiritual bath are right before dawn. And if you can get the sun to shine into your bathroom, even better. High noon, if you are trying to attract high-level blessings. You can do it at 3 p.m., you can do it at 7 p.m., do it at 9 p.m., do it at midnight. A full moon will give you full power, will give you strength, will give you cleansing. The new moon was good for bringing about new blessings and for ending old ones. If you are doing a waxing moon to attract energies, that's smart. If you are doing a waning moon to release energies, that's fine. If you don't do anything with the moon, that's fine. You don't have to wait for any particular cycle. If you follow it and it's part of your craft, it could add to the practice. If not, it's not a big deal. And the whole point of this way too long video is that your spiritual bath is yours. And as long as you are working to develop an intent that will help you, that will uplift you, and that will make you feel better, that will make you feel good and empower your life, you can't go wrong. I encourage you to ask advice. I encourage you to pull cards, to read tarot, do divination, ask your guides, ask your ancestors what to do, thank the plants, practice gratitude, research the plants that you are using and make sure that they are not only safe, but that they are healthy to use the way that you're using them. And yeah, experiment. Find what feels good to you in your craft and your spirit. I'm gonna get ready to take this bath because honestly it smells really, really good. And that's it for this video. If you have any more questions, if you would like help either developing more of your craft and sorting through some ideas, we offer a Developing with Spirit consultation. If you would like to work with us one-on-one for a custom spiritual bath, we also offer those services. If you would like a tarot reading, a cartomancy reading, any other kind of divination that we offer, feel free to check out the link in the description. That is our booking link where you can book and check out all of our services. Follow us on Instagram at UPLift and subscribe to the channel. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you and have a great day.